Today, we're talking about reactions to President Biden's garbage comment, the economy's latest growth report, the Dodgers winning the World Series, and other top news for Friday, November 1st. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the pour-over today. Here's the quote of the day. Lord, I'm going to hold steady onto you, and you've got to see me through. Harriet Tubman. Let's get started with some espresso shots. 4 more days, folks. 4 more days. Polls still show high early voting. Over 50 million ballots have already been cast, and a tight race in the critical battleground states is expected to decide the election. In Wisconsin, former President Trump rode in a campaign-branded garbage truck and accused Democrats of running a campaign of hate after President Biden called Trump supporters garbage. Biden quickly walked back the comment, which was made in response to a comedian's controversial bit at Trump's finale rally. VP Harris distanced herself from the trash talk, saying she disagrees with criticizing people based on who they vote for. She delivered her own closing remarks Tuesday night in Washington, D.C., where she said Trump would bring chaos and division and offered a different path forward. During the election season, it's easy to see the shortcomings of our opponents and cast ourselves in the right. When we find ourselves grumbling about others, we must remember to check our own hearts. Matthew 7, 3-5 says, "Why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but don't notice the beam of wood in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the splinter out of your eye,' and look, there's a beam of wood in your own eye? Hypocrite, first take the beam of wood out of your eye, and then you will see clearly to take the splinter out of your brother's eye." Uncle Sam's final pre-election economic report card arrived this week. The U.S. economy grew at a 2.8% pace in quarter 3, solid but lower than the expected 3.1%. Despite lackluster growth, economists are pleased by spendy-happy consumers and steady additions to the job rolls. Companies are also sharing their Q3 report cards. First, Meta grew less than expected, made more money than expected, and spent a ton on AI. Second, Microsoft saw strong growth thanks to its cloud business, but lowered projections. Third, Starbucks reported room temp earnings and announced non-dairy milk will no longer cost extra. A report yesterday from the Commerce Department reported the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, the PCE index, was 2.1%, very near the Fed's 2% target, though so-called core inflation remained stuck at 2.7%. Here's a verse to consider whether the dollars are piling up or dwindling in your own storehouses. Instruct those who are rich in the present age not to be arrogant or to set their hope on the uncertainty of wealth, but on God, who richly provides us with all things to enjoy. 1 Timothy 6, verse 17. La La Land loves their world champs. The LA Dodgers won their second World Series title in 5 seasons after beating the New York Yankees 7-6 in Game 5 Wednesday night. Down 5-0 in the 5th, the Dodgers tied it up with the help of 3 key Yankee miscues. Walker Buehler got the Dodgers' final 3 outs in the 9th inning, his first career save. Freddie Freeman was named World Series MVP after he made history by hitting home runs in the first 4 games, plus 2 more Game 5 RBIs. The Wednesday night Dodgers victory set off a Thursday lunchtime celebration in Japan, where Shohei fueled viewership of Games 1 and 2, 15.2 million, exceeded viewership in the US, 14.5 million. LA gets to celebrate with a parade today, something they were denied in 2020 due to COVID. Sports are an opportunity to experience camaraderie with fellow fans and to enjoy the thrill of watching athletes do what God created them to do. As you watch athletes compete, thank God that He also made you to do beautiful things, and pray that you bring Him glory in all you do. Ephesians 2, verse 10 says, "For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared ahead of time for us to do."
Hey, it's Emily from The Pour Over. Fall is here, and if your life is anything like mine, back to school means costs start piling up. School pictures, class parties, lunch money. Thankfully, I can soften the blow on the budget by getting cash back with Upside. Since I'm already filling up my tank and grabbing a bite to eat here and there, why not earn cash back while I do it? I even get cash back on our regular Friday pizza nights. Then I can quickly cash out and treat myself to a gift card for a post-school drop-off latte. It's super easy to use. Just download the app, check out the map to find gas or food offers nearby, claim one, and pay as usual. The cashback lands in your Upside profile, and you can cash out in seconds. Download the free Upside app and use promo code TPO to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code TPO.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. At least 158 people have died in Spain after a year's worth of rain fell in one day. Flooding Wednesday submerged farmlands in the eastern region of Valencia, a global leader in citrus exports, and swept away bridges and buildings. Rail service was suspended as rescue operations began combing through mud and debris yesterday. In a story that only appears to be satirical, Russia fined Google $20 decillion over their decision to ban state-run media on YouTube. What's a decillion? It's a 1 followed by 33 zeros. Oh, and the fine is doubling every day. For comparison, Google is worth $2 trillion, and the entire world's GDP is $120 trillion. Roughly 12,000 North Korean troops are donning Russian uniforms and moving toward Ukraine. The Pentagon says these troops trained at 5 bases in Russia, and the likelihood is pretty high that they'll be used in combat. Global leaders worry that the action will expand the war in Ukraine and wonder what aid Moscow is giving Pyongyang in exchange. Put America's largest newspaper chain in the no endorsements column. Gannett, which owns USA Today and over 200 other publications, announced that none of its outlets will publish presidential endorsements this year, but local and state endorsements have the green light. Meanwhile, the Washington Post's decision to skip the endorsement has cost it 250,000 subscribers, roughly 10%. Bird flu traded its beak for a snout. USDA announced its first detection of H5N1 in a pig at a small Oregon farm. The farm's 5 pigs were euthanized for further testing, and the other animals were quarantined. Officials are not overly concerned, but say the development is noteworthy since pig-borne viruses pose a higher risk to humans. And that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We appreciate your support and hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. If you love inspiring testimonies of courageous faith, look no further. The Voice of the Martyrs is offering TPO listeners free access to a film called Sabina, Tortured for Christ, the Nazi Years. It tells the powerful, true story of a woman's journey to faith in Christ and the risks she took to share the gospel with soldiers from the army that killed her family. Visit vom.org/TPO to claim your free copy today.